Well, hi, welcome. You have two of the nurtured old souls of Chicago. Alyce Soroki.
Larry Garrett.
And I've known Alyce, and Alyce has known me, I'm going to guess 1983. 1982, yep. I walked into this health food store, and at that time, nobody had health food stores. We didn't even know what health food stores were. So we have two pioneers here. When did you start your nutritional direction of life?
Well, I was raised in kind of the nutritional direction of life. My dad had one of the first health food stores. Then when he passed, I took it over. That's when I started selling hypnosis tapes at the health food store. So that was in the 80s. Yeah. I don't know, when did you begin hypnosis?
1968, I trained. In 1970, I began my practice.
Okay, that's because you're a year older too.
I started when I was 12.
Yeah, and I started when I was 13. Okay.
So Alyce and I have been speaking about putting something together that we could share with you, and we are really two great friends that have been together for many, many years in different ways. And sometimes I don't see Alyce for a while, and then when I see her, it's like yesterday. I often think about friends are like a tree. You know, we start together in this tree together in 1983, and then her branches went off in that way, and with colon therapy and a lot of other nutritional directions, and my branches went off this way and towards mental health. And the two of us occasionally are like a wind blowing and the branches touch. Today we touched, so we're going to do this presentation for you. Yes. And it's going to be fun. Neither one of us are very, we're not very structured, are we?
No.
How long did it take you to write your book, by the way, Gut Wisdom?
My book, Gut Wisdom,
how long
probably,
did it take you?
It took me 4 years.
4 years.
4
okay.
years.
4
years, and it was the pulling of all my wisdom from my growing up years to actually my nutrition degree to the self-learning, and then putting that together. And then because I would always be sharing that knowledge, then when you're writing a book, sometimes then you have to really back it up with sometimes scientific information and other stuff. That's what took most of the time.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. I was listening to a podcast the other day, and the author says it takes 5 years to write a book. And I thought, well, she's probably right. My first book I wrote in a year, but it was easy because it was just relaying my experiences. But then later it took longer. So I think that putting together something like Gut Wisdom, wonderful book, by the way. You need to get Gut Wisdom. I think we should have it so we could do a commercial, but we don't need to do commercials. You know, Alyce and I have been doing hypnosis and colon therapy and nutritional values for so many years. We don't need to advertise. We're just part of the character. You know, it's like that tree. You don't need to say, oh, look, there's a tree out there. You couldn't miss it. So you can't miss us. You just look up two old souls, and you'll find Larry Garrett and Alyce Soroki.
And you know what, and if I can add this, it's
Please.
like I encouraged us to do this together because I'm not a young chickadee anymore. None of us are who have really been the pilgrims in consciousness of thought, consciousness of the body, taking charge and power of choice of what we need to do for our body, mind, and our spirit. And I wanted us and two people of wisdom to just even be showing our faces together. And my invitation to Larry was because I work with the gut, dealing with digestion and elimination, and the body mind, doing TRE, the tension trauma release, doing everything that is about shifting and being empowered. And Larry does changing consciousness, being empowered between the ears here. And to put all these together and to then have a toolkit to make some choices for your health, for your body, your mind, and your spirit, I thought, let's just show ourselves out there, and if people don't know about us, they should.
Good. And before we sat down here and started speaking, we spoke a little bit. What are we going to do? And neither one of us really knew. But then Alyce made a good comment. She says, what if we speak a little bit about the gut? And I do also, by the way, when the camera was moving just now, that's because Jack was walking underneath the wire here and I had to lift it up for him. Jack is our other soulmate over here. Rumi's missing. Alyce left Rumi at home to sleep, and Jack just woke up. But anyway, going back to humans now, because Rumi and Jack think they're humans. They both
They're the wise ones.
and they're both with us. Every time Alyce goes anywhere, Rumi's right there with her. So let's go back to gut wisdom. When I do hypnosis, I believe in having the mind distracted from the logic. I often think hypnosis is to the mind what magic is to the vision. So when the magician holds up his or her right hand and says, watch this trick, you miss what the left hand is doing. And that's sort of the distraction you create with hypnosis. Mm-hmm. So one of the things that I like to do is I like to do a little relaxation, and then I go into the abdominal area and I say, now focus on the abdominal area. When Alyce speaks about gut wisdom, I really feel that we have known since the beginning of time about gut wisdom. My mother used to always use the phrase, well, I have a gut feeling. I have a gut feeling. And I remember when I was, into a place of anxiety and stress, I had some severe duodenal ulcers, and it was because I wore all of my anxiety in my gut. And I would often tell people, when you're nervous, it goes to the stomach. And some people say, well, mine goes to the shoulders, mine goes to the chest. Mine goes to the head, mine went to the stomach or the abdominal area. So now I've learned a skill that says, if you want to balance all emotions, then learn to pay attention to gut wisdom. Learn to pay attention to the emotions that go on in the abdominal area. When it starts tinkling a little bit, when you start feeling a little, you can't see my abdominal area, camera is too high, but when it starts tingling a little bit or something starts churning, pay attention, it's speaking to you.
Absolutely. I would have thought either you helped me. Did you write Gut Wisdom, huh?
Well, I have great.
You must have read.
I read your book, and I have great beliefs in it. I really do. I have great beliefs because I have not have had difficulties in my abdominal area since I got involved in hypnosis. Not because hypnosis taught me gut wisdom, but because hypnosis neutralized the angst in my body going first to the abdominal area. Yes.
Yes. And on the note of gut wisdom, it's like when you're, with the hypnosis, you're calming and shifting thoughts.
Sure. Thoughts
go directly through nerves right into the gut. From the gut, nerves go directly up to the brain. So we're like peanut butter and jelly here, where it's you can't do one without the other. One affects the other.
And I add a word to thoughts, feelings. Mm-hmm. If I say, I think I'll paint that wall tomorrow, that's a thought. Mm-hmm. But I'll never paint the wall. It'll still be the same tomorrow. But if I feel like painting the wall, then I'm going to paint the wall. So I think that, yes, thoughts go to the abdominal area, but feelings communicate to it.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. That's okay. Mm-hmm. That's a little shift, but a big shift.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, and I play this well with people that I see in my practice, and that is what I know consciously is not what I feel emotionally. But what I know logically is what I'm thinking about. What I'm feeling emotionally is what runs my life. So if I think about making a lot of money, I might not make a lot of money, but if I feel like making a lot of money, I might make a lot of money. Yeah. So feelings are strong.
Feelings are the things that create the manifestation of what's going on, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. It's just a play on words, but it's really not because, again, think of something, anything. Now feel something. There's a power there. If you think about falling in love, good luck. But if you feel like you're falling in love,
Yes.
it.
Mm-hmm. This was a discussion we started earlier. It's like to discern, it's like when I think of the gut, I think of it like we mentioned Jack and Rumi, our inner dog. There's no, they don't rationalize. They don't rationalize. It's just pure. Yep. And if in my world with gut wisdom, if you're not listening to that inner dog or that inner child, that's when you get the gurgles, maybe the irritable bowel. Yeah.
Irritable bowel is a good one. That's a good example of gut wisdom.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's like razzle snazzle. I'm not listening. I want you to hear me. I want you to pay attention. So how would you then, because I'm thinking like, oh, I go to my gut to get some answers because it's speaking to me.
Yeah.
You being a hypnotherapist, you're going up here. So
To
how
start.
to start there. And if you were even saying, does the I'm thinking of the energy, and I almost think of the subconscious or the unconscious in the gut. As you as a hypnotist, where does that live? Is there a place where it lives, or am I getting too linear?
No. Since the beginning of time, we often wonder, where's the mind? We know where the brain is, but where's the mind? There is a lot of studies, a lot of talk going on presently of neuroscience. Excuse me. And I watched one recently on YouTube that spoke about how the emotions affect the brain. We don't think about that, but where does it live? I think the emotions live in the consciousness, excuse me, the consciousness of life. So when we're born, we're like Rumi or Jack. We are just all subconscious. I don't think they do a lot of rationale, as you say. I think they do habitual things, but so do we. But where does habitual come from? I often use the example, if I take an object and I throw it at you, you duck. If I say, I promise I won't throw it, but I'm going to pretend, you still duck. Why'd you duck? I told you I won't throw it. Well, that's sort of like Rumi or Jack or any other animal. Rumi and Jack, by the way, are dogs, so you know who we're talking about. It's like any other animal. They work on conditioned response and a reflex. So if you raise your hand to a dog, it ducks, maybe especially if it's been abused before we had them. And I think that's the way we are as far as where does it reside. I think it resides in consciousness. And here's what I've done, Alyce, for many years. I've practiced a living love higher consciousness taught to me by a mentor many years ago, Ken Kais. So 2 things I learned: live the moment and love myself unconditionally. After I do those 2 things, boy, the rest is easy.
And interesting, even as you say that, and it's like, because your work is like, consciousness and dealing with unconscious, subconscious, and I'm very into the physical. Let me shake your body with TRE. Let me move the stuff out of you with colon therapy. But yet, what you just said about being in the moment and loving self, this is about bringing like, if you're living in the moment, there's not anxiety because you're in the moment. You're not thinking of what you did.
Anxiety, right?
Yeah, or what you're going to do. So therefore, those nerves I'm talking about that go to the brain, to the gut, are calmed.
Yes.
The loving the self, which sometimes I think is a challenging one for many,
It is.
But it, if you're in the moment, if I'm in the moment, I'm not thinking back to what I did or didn't do or my regrets. I'm not thinking to the future. I'm right here. And so there's peace from the consciousness, the brain, and the gut. It's just...
You say the words well.
When you're in the moment, in the present moment,
It's okay.
That's okay. When you're in self-love, to really do self-love, for me, is be in present moment. Because if I'm not in present moment, I'm looking in the back, what I did or didn't do. I'm looking in the future, what I should, which then creates anxiety. The bottom line is, Ken Keyes had it. Be in the moment. Be present.
Yeah, be in the moment could be our first journey. Because you're right. I just did a short video on regret. Regret's an interesting disease.
I saw that, yeah.
Yeah, it just holds us back. Oh, I should have done that, and we didn't do it. And the future, the future will burn you out because we begin to spin our wheels. You remember that phrase in the 70s and 80s? That therapy was, you're spinning your wheels. I don't know if we still use that one, but spinning your wheels. You're always attempting to fix what's not happening yet. What if I'm late for that appointment? You haven't even left the house yet. What if it doesn't happen? It hasn't even started yet. So those are accurate, live in a moment. Now you bring up a good point can we love ourselves unconditionally? Listen, when you're as beautiful as Alyce and I, you could love yourself forever. But really the reason we don't is because we're taught as young children. Young children, I remember this one, you might remember similar, Alyce, and that is, you shouldn't like yourself, because if you like yourself, people think you're conceited, and if you're conceited, nobody will like you. And you want people to like you, don't you? So you can't like yourself, because if you like yourself, nobody will like you. Boy, isn't that a crock?
Yeah, isn't that? Yes.
Who would want to hang around with a loser?
Right.
Not me. I want only people as Alyce, not people as, but Alyce. Because I want to be with people who think positive, who love themselves, who feel good, who help other people feel good. Do you know how contagious it is for what Alyce does, what I do, to teach other people to feel good? Because we want the world to feel good, one person at a time. You right now, as you're listening to us, as you're watching us, we want you to know that you could feel good every day. Not today only, not yesterday, not tomorrow, every day. If we wake up every day and we say, ooh, I woke up this morning. It's my favorite phrase, you know. I woke up this morning. Now I have another opportunity. I could either be a downer, I'm not, or it could be up. I could feel good. I could be so excited because I woke up and I have another opportunity to make it better. Your turn.
My turn. I was in awe listening to you.
You could tell we didn't script this.
No. I think I'll just say this: ditto.
Ditto.
Ditto. Ditto.
It's like people say, "I love you." Ditto. Oh,
Ditto.
come on! And
No.
you know what I want to hear and share with you? When you tell somebody you love them, I was reading recently. Maybe I sent it to you. I got excited about Chicago accents. That's a good one. How about this one? Love ya.
Love ya.
Yeah. Love ya. Maybe you might even say love you.
Or how about just this?
Yeah, that's good. But would it hurt you to say, I love you? And if you receive notes from me, emails from me, if you meet me personally, I'll bet I've concluded our conversation with, I love you. And I mean that. I really love you.
And all along, I thought it was just you were saying that to me. And the truth is, I do know you make everybody, and he, again, has been my mentor, because he's older than me, a year or two. But how you are present with people and how you make each person like they're the only person in the room and like they are loved. You know, not that you're just saying that, you feel that.
Yes.
And we're going back to feeling.
Yes.
And that is, I think, even more, I'm not going to say more powerful than the gift of your hypnosis. You know, I've gone and done hypnosis with you. And yeah, the hypnosis part is great, but the important part was the half an hour or the 20 minutes before we...
Half an hour, 20 minutes, I spend an hour.
Alrighty, so I didn't want to think people...
maybe anyway.
I
Depends
didn't
on
want
the person.
people to think like they should get a whole hour, but they probably would get an hour of you just listening to them and hearing them and seeing them.
And interacting. I
And
do dialogue.
interacting.
I'm not a person like a therapist says, And how does
Oh,
that
no,
feel
it-
when you're depressed?
Right.
Well, how do you think it feels when I'm depressed? Terrible.
Right. So you engage.
I engage.
You engage.
I engage.
And I'm both even in my field of people coming in with gut problems or stress and traumas, dealing with the, wanting to do the TRE. I'll sit with them, I don't do an hour, don't expect it.
Well,
Okay. But I
yeah.
want to say,
Yeah.
talking to somebody who's had a history of gut problems or stress or anxiety, I sit and I'm listening and I'm engaging and I'm reflecting back. They could probably leave after that without having the service, because that engagement, that human engagement was more the healing, I believe, than any of the tools, any pill, anything that I have to offer. And I think that's your gift.
Well, same experience. I've been to your office and experienced colon therapy, and I don't think you just say, "Okay, Lara, let's put that poop up your butt and let's move on." No, we don't do that. We have to talk about it. We have to understand it. We have to get into it, and then we move with it. So going back, I made a joke about 10 minutes, 20 minutes. When I sit with a client, or with a friend, with a loved one. I don't wear a watch. I quit wearing a watch about 40 years ago. The doctor who trained me originally, he says, "You have someplace to go?" And I said, "No, why?" He says, "You keep looking at your watch." I do. I didn't notice. So I discontinued wearing a watch after that because the habit was to look at my watch. I don't know. And if somebody says, "What time is it?" I don't know. I have to look at my watch because it's such a habit forming and anxiety for me that I had to get rid of it. And it wasn't anxiety that I had someplace to go. It's just a human nature to look at your watch. So be aware of those little things. When I sit with somebody, as Alyce does, when I've been in Alyce's office and Alyce spent time with me, she did take her time. She did understand. She did watch what I was experiencing. So if she said, "We're going to do this," and then she changed her wording a little bit, and I would do the same. So the idea is that when you sit with somebody as your therapist, whether it be TRE with Alyce, I want you to explain TRE, or hypnosis with me. We need to do a little dialogue so we could bond our subconscious minds together. It's not logic. This is not me teaching you how to know something. My skills are to teach you how to feel something. I might say to you, "You know what it feels like when you're anxious, don't you?" Yeah. I'm going to teach you what it feels like when you're not anxious, to grab onto that feeling and memorize it.
Okay. And good segue into my intention is whether someone's coming from colon therapy or a digestive consultation with that, and then I'll talk about TRE. My intention with TRE, which is about helping people release stress and old traumas held in the body, through 7 exercises that was created for actually soldiers with post-traumatic stress. So it's a very deep but gentle process. So I do that, the colon therapy, the digestive consultation. All of these processes is about how do we remove kind of the clouds, the blocks, so that the body's wisdom can heal. So you can feel like, oh, when I eat that doesn't feel good. When you're numbed out, whether it's through anxiety or because you've eaten so much bad food, your body is numb, your mind is numb, you don't know what's good or bad. Just like you don't know a good or bad relationship. You don't know the discernment is clouded. Through these tools I teach and do, is move those blocks away so you're empowered to know, oh, that doesn't taste right, that doesn't feel right. Oh, that person, that energy doesn't feel right. I need to step away. That's what the tools I offer. So we both do stuff to where it's like, let's help move stuff away in order to be empowered here and make choices that really heal us.
You know, as you were speaking, my mind was visualizing. Can you imagine that your car is broke and the only tool you have is a screwdriver? Well, you're not going to be able to do much work on it. But as Alyce just explained, it's a combination of everything. The combination of body and mind that Alyce works with, body and mind that I work with, because even though I'm working with your mind, I'm also educating the body to feel better by the mind becoming more aware. We just spoke about this before we started. We have one of our Rolfers at the office, John Bannock, and he always says, "You sure are aware of your body," to me. And that's a great compliment because most of us are not aware of our body. When my tummy starts tingling, I know that if I'm not hungry, then it must be some emotion. But I might share with you, and Alyce probably knows this already with me, and that is the longer that I have spent learning to feel good, the less my tummy tingles from not feeling good. Even the excitement of some great things going to happen. You know, when we learn to feel good, we begin to create a balance. So we're not happy all the time, we're not sad all the time, we're there. So when we're on this balance always, then we could feel good or we could feel bad. We could feel good or we could feel, but the real issue is we always have control. We don't have control when we're high or low.
You know, that was what you said triggered something in me because I think of some people who I know. You're saying, oh, like the more happier you are, generally the gut is not talking with sometimes so much discomfort.
Discomfort.
Yeah. The thing is, and I'm curious on your experience, and this is where hypnosis, I think this is where I would probably be directing some of my clients your way, which I have, is that not even though someone's coming to pay me and see me, and they're saying, and consciously I think they believe they want to be well, but there is, again, maybe some old beliefs or patterns. Just like you had said, my father would have said, you're feeling good about yourself? No way. You self-love? That's not good. So you have the belief that you don't deserve to feel good, even though up here you're saying, I want to feel good because I'm in discomfort. Can hypnosis change that belief that, again, somebody comes and is trying to get well, but there's old beliefs that won't let them, because that almost is the belief of like, I'm supposed to not feel good. Do you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Yeah.
Here's what many hypnotists have disagreements with my philosophies, but that's not my business. My business is what I've learned works well. And I think about how hypnosis changes our belief system is like this. When you hypnotize somebody, you don't hypnotize them to do something, to accomplish something, to be something. You hypnotize them to neutralize the angst or the wall that's preventing them. You never meet an infant who lacks confidence. You never meet an infant who is unhappy or angry or fearful. We learn how to feel uncomfortable by the statements you just made. Mine was mostly intimidation from peer pressure in elementary school. So then I didn't feel attractive. I think I was in my 40s before I realized I wasn't unattractive. I just think that nobody likes me, look at me. And that was all because of one girl that I had a crush on at 15 years old, and she wasn't interested. And I thought, I must be ugly. And I wore that energy for years. But once you get into hypnosis, you start neutralizing the old stuff. So you don't hypnotize a person and say, you will feel better.
Right.
You extract feeling bad. So if you could extract feeling bad, what would you feel? You'd feel like the infant. You know how naive I am? I am. Everybody says, Larry, you're so naive, you trust everybody. You're right. You're right. I trust everybody. If you know my history and you read about me, you'll see that I've been with the most terrible man in the world, Uday Hussein. I have been accosted by people who attempted to rob me, and all I did was show them love, and I got love back, and I'm okay. It's okay.
And with all those things that you just even shared, I'll often, when I send people Larry's way, I'll often say, he's like Mr. Magoo. He doesn't see anything, like something bad could come and he sneezes and it passes over his head.
You're right, I don't see bad.
No.
I don't see bad.
Yes. And going back to you not thinking you're attractive and whatever those beliefs or whatever you shifted, however many years ago, now you go in the room and every babe wants to be with him, every age, so it's like now you're like James Bond.
Well, I don't know if I'm like James Bond, but here's what I think about aura and charisma. When you look at somebody on stage, a performer, even if they don't sing well, some don't. I think about Rod Stewart and everybody loves him when he talks like this. But the real issue is it's the charisma that they wear, the aura they wear. When you feel good, your aura will shine. Even go back to the infant. How often do you see an ugly infant say, my God, that baby's ugly. Even if they're ugly, they look beautiful. And I think that of us. I think the same thing. I think I'm going to live to be 100 plus. I've got about 20 years ago. And 100 plus. And when I'm 100 years old, I think I will still walk in the room with the same energies that I have today. I don't know how I'll be walking, but I will, because I believe...
He'll be skipping.
Yeah. One of my greatest phrases, I have many great phrases, but this one, we become what we think about all day. What do you think about all day? I think all day good stuff. Good stuff, really, good stuff. Good stuff. Like I said earlier, I've been in situations, I share a story that quickly about two guys who were attempting to rob me. And one guy's on a lookout and the other guy's trying to rob me and he's trying to harass me a little bit. And I just kept looking in his eyes and smiling and sending him love. And I touched him on the shoulder and I says, it'll be okay. And he, oh, okay, thanks, man. And he walked away. That's a true story. And I'd like to extend that story someday if you have an interest. But the real issue is I refrained from wearing any fear so this person did not hurt me. I believe when we wear fear, we show fear.
And we draw it to us.
We draw it. We draw who we feel. That's right. I feel good, so I draw good people. I wonder if we've been doing this for about 30 minutes. Should we segue into a conclusion and make another one? Let's make another one so they want more.
Oh, I think so. And I would love for a commitment here that maybe you would make a little meditation for bringing people from the brain to the gut and from the gut to the brain and just something very soothing. Not now.
Oh, next time.
Maybe next time.
Okay, so next time we're going to do another one.
This is like
Alyce
the
and I
carrot,
we're just starting. So next time, to teach you about gut wisdom, I will do a little relaxation in the next video that we do where I will speak to you to communicate to your abdominal area, to communicate to it. You know, we communicate to every part of us. We communicate to our nose. We communicate to an eyebrow. If we say, no kidding, and one eyebrow goes up in the air, I don't know how to do it, then you know that person's listening. If you're talking to somebody and their legs are crossed, you can't see mine right now, and that foot goes up, whoa, you know you touched their soul. So the idea is that every part of our body is communicated to by our mind. I have an article, if you'd like, just send me a note, and it's called organ language. And it says every part of our body is communicated to our mind by some emotional statement, such as, that guy gives me a stomach ache. That guy turns my stomach. And then pretty soon you have a stomach ache. So don't use those words. Don't. Refrain from using those words. Alyce concluded for us.
Well, I'm concluding here. I feel good talking about being with Mr. Feelgood. I'm feeling good through my head, my toe, my belly, my head, of having to share this screen with you, Mr. Leary.
And notice how good she looks, as good as she's feeling. Talk about charisma the same way. Alyce is an ageless friend. She has this energy of youth and vibrant energy, and you need to know her better. Okay, I wish to say goodbye to you. I do love you. I love you very much. So you have a wonderful day. And this is a little bit longer than I usually do, but that's because we had Alyce together. We never stop. When we get together, we never stop. Bye.